Intro, imagine having two fathers. One is highly educated, hardworking, and believes that getting a good job is the key to success. The other never finished school but believes that financial education is the path to true freedom. One says the love of money is the root of all evil. The other says the lack of money is the root of all evil. This is the story of Robert Kiyosaki, a man who grew up with two completely different mindsets and how that difference changed his life forever. Welcome to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the book that taught millions of people how to think like the rich. Chapter 1. The Two Fathers. Robert had two father figures. His real father, a smart man with a PhD and a stable job, always said, "Go to school, get good grades, and find a secure job." His friend's father, who never finished high school, said, "Learn how money works and make it work for you." Robert realized early that education alone doesn't create wealth. Financial education does. One father struggled with money all his life, the other became one of the richest men in Hawaii. Chapter 2. Don't work for money. At just 9 years old, Robert and his friend Mike asked the rich dad to teach them how to be rich. He made them work for free in one of his small stores. After weeks without pay, Robert got frustrated. Rich Dad smiled and said, "Most people work for money. The rich make money work for them." That was the first big lesson. Don't chase money, learn how to control it. The poor and middle class work for income. The rich work to build assets that generate income, even when they sleep. Hamatale lust. Schools teach how to read, write, and calculate, but they don't teach how to manage money. That's why even doctors, engineers, and teachers can end up broke. Rich Dad taught Robert that the key to wealth is understanding assets and liabilities. Assets, things that put money in your pocket, like investments, properties, or businesses. Liabilities, things that take money out of your pocket, like loans, cars, or unnecessary expenses. The poor buy liabilities thinking they're assets. The rich buy assets that generate cash flow. Chapter 4. The Rat Race. Most people live trapped in what Robert calls the rat race. They wake up, go to work, pay bills, and repeat the cycle forever. When they earn more, they spend more. They work harder for promotions, not realizing they're only making their boss richer. Rich Dad said, "If you don't learn to control your emotions, you'll always be controlled by money." Fear and greed rule most people's lives. Fear of losing money and the greed of wanting more. Freedom starts when you control your emotions and understand money. Chapter 5. Make money work for you. Rich people don't look for secure jobs. They look for opportunities, ways to make their money grow. Rich Dad taught Robert to study investments, real estate, and entrepreneurship. Even small investments can grow into big results if you start early and think smart. The rich focus on building assets. Everyone else focuses on building income. Money is your employee. If you train it right, it will work 24 hours a day, even while you sleep. Chapter 6. Don't be afraid of risk. The poor avoid risk. The rich learn how to manage it. Rich Dad said security is an illusion. The world is full of risk. Learn to handle it, not run from it. Robert made mistakes, lost money, and learned. Every failure taught him a new skill. That's how the rich grow, not by playing safe, but by learning from every setback. Chapter 7. The Power of Financial Knowledge. Money comes and goes, but knowledge lasts forever. Rich Dad told Robert to master 3 essential skills. Understand financial statements. Learn how taxes and laws work. Develop your ability to sell and communicate. When you understand how the game of money works, you stop being a pawn, you start being a player. Chapter 8. Think like an entrepreneur. Working for others will never make you rich. You have to build or own something. Robert started small businesses, invested in real estate, and built multiple income streams. For him, the goal wasn't just to be rich, it was to be free. Money is not the goal. Freedom is. Financial freedom is when your assets generate more money than your expenses. That's when you can truly live life on your own terms. Chapter 9. Change your mindset. Everything starts with your mindset. The poor say, "I can't afford it." The rich ask, "How can I afford it?" That single question changes everything, because it forces your brain to find solutions instead of excuses. Your words shape your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your wealth. Chapter 10. Be your own teacher. Rich Dad, Poor Dad isn't just a book about money, it's about thinking differently. Robert didn't inherit money, he inherited mindsets. He learned that true education doesn't come from school, but from curiosity, mistakes, and experience. The most powerful asset you have is your mind. Train it well, and it can create incredible wealth. Conclusion. So what's the real message of Rich Dad, Poor Dad? You don't have to be born rich, you just have to think like the rich. Start learning how money works, build assets, not debts, take smart risks, and most importantly, never stop learning. Because in the end, financial freedom isn't about money, it's about control, independence, and peace of mind. If this summary inspired you, give it a like, subscribe, and remember, don't work for money, make money work for you.